Hello and welcome to the Tottenham America channel. Today, we will be rating every player's performance from Tottenham Hotspur's 3-1 loss to Brentford in the Premier League. Their first home loss to Brentford since 1948, more than 50 years ago. We will start with goalkeeper Fraser Forster. I'm going to give him a 5.5.
I'm going to give Fraser Forster a 6. Really didn't have to make any saves. Mainly because Brentford were so clinical. They had literally had 3 chances and got 3 goals. But other than that, I think his distribution was a little off today. Not as good as it normally is, of course. It's still better than Lloris's distribution.
He was a little slow getting down to the...
he definitely was.
Getting down to the shots that Brentford
I think the only goal he should have done something against was Mbuemo's first goal.
Yeah, I think he could have gotten down lower quickly. That was his biggest problem, as I was saying. He just wasn't getting down quick enough for the goals, and I think he could have stopped 1 or 2 of them. Certainly not the last one, and I think the second one was just well placed. But the first one, definitely, I think he could have stopped if he was just a little quicker. Which is probably one of the downsides you have with having a backup keeper who is also a little bit older.
And he's also 6. He's also like 6'6".
Yeah. But I really hope that we can somehow lure David Raya.
Yeah, we saw him today. That double save against Richarlison.
Yeah. We'll move on to our back four. We played a 4-2-3-1 today. We'll start with Emerson Royal. I'm going to give him a 6.
I'm giving Royal a 7. I thought he was really good today.
Thought he was decent. Nothing
First half
too
was
crazy.
Excellent from him. He did so well to get at the back post so many times. He did so well to still get up on a back four, but also still get back. Second half, we didn't really see much of him.
The shot header off of that incredible pattern of play in the 24th minute that resulted in a Ben Mee clearance off the line, I believe. Ben Mee, right?
No, I think it was Rico Henry.
Or it was Rico Henry. But it was a great... Regardless, it was an excellent block off the line. But Emerson Royal did excellently to get up there and take a shot on goal. I don't think he made any mistakes for the goals. Wasn't really at fault.
No.
But I feel like he was sometimes maybe a little wasteful in his crossing or in the positions that he took up along the wings. But overall, not a bad performance from Emerson Royal. We'll move to Davinson Sanchez now. I'm going to give him a 5.
I'm going to give Davinson Sanchez a 6.
Sanchez came into the side for Romero, who was forced out of the side with a knock. He did okay to replace him. Definitely some points where he was very shaky.
Yeah, first half was fine from him. Didn't really have much to do.
Second half,
you saw his hesitant side and his undecisive side coming back into his game. And you can see he started to get less comfortable on the ball and all of his normal stuff.
Yeah. But honestly, it was not as bad as it could have gone. Could have gone a lot worse.
I think this is honestly his best performance of the season.
Which is pretty sad considering it was not even that good. But it was not the usual Sanchez caliber.
Yeah.
We'll move on to our next center back, Clement Lenglet. I'm going to give Lenglet a 5.
I'm going to give Lenglet a 6. Similar to Davies, got caught flat-footed at the back, especially for the
times by
second goal.
Mbuemo.
Yeah. That both of them, but Davies and Lenglet did not have enough pace to catch up with Mbuemo.
But I think he made up for that a little bit with his first half. I think he was very solid.
He was good in the first half. He also played some good balls out wide.
Yeah.
Playing out of the back was excellent in the first half. That's one thing he did better than Davies.
Yeah, that's why I think his rating is the same as Sanchez. He kind of balances himself out with his first and second half performances. But definitely the second half, he was not doing enough to help cover Mbuemo with Davies, and that was really the reason that we kept getting caught out. We'll move to our left back, Ben Davies. I'm going to give him a 4.5.
I'm going to give Ben Davies a 5, slightly worse than Lenglet, I think, because he was more at fault for getting caught out by Mbuemo, and he didn't have as good as the first half of Lenglet. And in the second half, when we were desperate for 2 goals and there was 9 minutes of stoppage time, he was pretty wasteful of when he had the ball.
Yeah. Davies really should have done a lot better every time he got caught out by Mbuemo. I feel like it was way too many times that he was getting caught out, and it was way too easy for Mbuemo. He just had to turn on the gas pedals and just sprint past him for 2 seconds, and that's it. Davies is out of the game. So that defensive side was probably our biggest problem, and that was a big problem because it was not rethought. I feel like they attacked us a couple of times down that side before we didn't really change anything, and then they scored the goal, and we still didn't change anything, and then they kept exploiting us down that right side. So that was definitely a major issue for us defensively. We'll move to our midfield. One of the best players of the match, I think, in our opinion, on Tottenham's side, Yves Bissouma. I'm going to give him a 6.5.
I'm going to give Yves Bissouma a 7. He's looking like his old self at Brighton. Yeah. Really impressive.
Yeah, this is the player that we saw at Brighton. This is the one that we hoped we'd see when they came to Spurs. But really, we never saw that under Conte. And so for him to be freed from the shackles of Conte, as people like to say, he looks like a different player.
Yeah, playing balls out wide, really controlling midfield. He was doing excellent today, especially in the first half. Second half, I don't think he was that much involved, but he really wasn't at fault for much either.
Yeah. So, undoubtedly, I think a very, very convincing performance by Bissouma, and I think this will really help him cement a place in the team for next year because this performance shows that he really has a chance on this side as a big creative output in midfield because he was spraying passes really well today. Like, really well. His midfield partner was not so good. We'll go to Oliver Skipp now. I'm going to give Skipp a 5.
I'm going to give Oliver Skipp a 5 as well. Not a good performance from him.
Pretty poor.
Pretty poor. He had a decent first half, not terrible. Second half, though, this game started going downhill as the game went on, and it all just ended off with that mistake for Brentford's third goal. Yeah. Completely just switched off, lost possession.
Dwelled on the ball for way too long.
Yeah.
And it's an easy win back from Baptiste, and then Mbuemo and Wissa are all over them to score the goal. So really, Skipp should have done a lot better there, which was a big. That was probably our biggest problem. His performance just started to go downhill and downhill and downhill. We'll move to our front four now. We played a 4-2-3-1, so the 3 attacking midfielders behind the striker. We'll start with Arnaut Danjuma on that right side. I'll give him a 5.5.
I'm going to give Arnaut Danjuma a 6.5.
I thought Danjuma was okay. Had one chance that I really remembered, the big header chance, where Son curled right around and did basically kind of like a snap cross, and Danjuma reacted excellently to get his head on it, but just put it wide of the post.
Couldn't completely direct that onto goal. But other than that, I think he was doing really well off the ball. Yeah. He was making a bunch of dangerous runs in behind.
A lot of pressing in the first half.
Making a lot of dangerous runs in behind the Brentford defense. He looked dangerous almost every time he got the ball.
Yep.
And yeah.
So
decent performance from Danjuma, not terrible.
Yeah. Not the worst, but certainly not
he could have done better
crazy.
In some places, definitely.
But I think his pressing helped a lot in the first half.
Yeah.
That was the reason he does
dangerous. He does a lot off the ball.
Yeah. In the middle, actually, was probably, I think, the best player of the match today. Someone who rejuvenated themselves in a new role. Dejan Kulusevski playing in that number 10 attacking midfielder role just behind the striker, with a lot of creative license in the middle. I'm going to give him a 7.5.
I'm going to give Dickie a 7.5 as well.
Pretty fantastic.
He looked like a new player. He looks so good playing that number 10 role. And next season, if we get a manager who plays a back four, hopefully, and if they play a 4-2-3-1, I think Dickie will be that man in the middle.
Yeah.
And Pedro Porro will probably get a chance to play out wide on the right then.
Yeah, because he played really, really well. And he actually created 5 chances. I think they were all in the first half, maybe 1 in the second. 5 chances is a very, very good number. That's numbers that you don't usually see on our team.
That's from one player.
One player. So Kulusevski in that attacking midfielder role is a very, very good thing to see. And I think it's a very good position to put him in because I feel like he's good on the winger side, but he's much more effective through the middle with the way he played today. On the other side was Heung-min Son. I'm going to give him a 6.75.
Heung-min Son, I'm going to give him a 7. Did really well. Linked up with Kulusevski a lot.
Yeah.
Made a lot of decent runs. Nearly scored, of course, but Ben Mee had to be there, blocking on the line.
He was actually just behind Kulusevski in terms of chances created. He created 4 chances, so right behind Kulusevski. Son usually puts up those numbers, but still, good performance from Son.
He's putting in a really good end of the season.
Yeah.
Okay, but Tottenham has not been putting in a really good end of the season.
No.
Son has improved his game a lot since the beginning, though.
Yeah. And Kulusevski's recently come back to form. Basuma's finally starting to find his feet. Emerson Royal coming back to the side is a big plus.
So yeah, despite like us having 2 wins in our last 10 in this horrible season, there are some positives.
Well, you can see the players that are doing well, and from there you handpick which players are causing us to go down
and that need to go
down.
Yep.
Yeah. Our last player on the team sheet in the first 11 is Harry Kane, potentially making his last Spurs home appearance. It all depends on what happens in the transfer window this summer. I'm going to give him a 7. Brilliant goal at the start of the match to get us underway in the 8th minute.
I'm going to give Kane a 7.5. Excellent performance from him today. Really good strike for the goal. I think it was a really good idea to have Decky lay off the ball for Kane, because Kane does way better from open play when the ball is just stationary on the ground.
Yeah.
And that's why he's not good at free kicks. So I think that was a really good idea. Once the ball was moving, he felt comfortable and could just really strike that ball. And it was a brilliant strike.
Yeah.
And other than that, he really dropped deep and distributed the ball really well.
Yeah. It's going to be a real pain when he eventually does leave. I think it could happen this season. I don't know if it can. It might not. I don't know. But
Richarlison could get a chance to shine then.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking. Is if Kane does go, we've got a very good backup in Richarlison,
who just really needs playtime.
Yeah,
that's all he needs.
He has quality. We know he has quality. I know he's been a bit cursed.
He's been good. He's been good this end of the season. He's been looking good coming off the bench. Scored against Liverpool. Almost scored today. Yeah. Denied by David Raya.
But you could say that for a lot of his games. He almost scored.
Yeah.
He almost
so
scored
many disallowed goals.
Yeah. We'll move on to our substitutes now. We'll be rating 3 of them. Start with Lucas Moura, who came on in the 65th minute, I believe, for Arnaud Danjuma. I'm going to give him a 5.
I'm going to give Lucas a 5 as well.
This was a sentimental substitution, that's all. It was just because it's his last game.
Yeah, last home game. Really didn't do anything effective on the pitch.
Didn't do anything much. So.
But yeah, he's been a really good Spurs player throughout his years.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of good memories.
I think just this
it was
this
him.
Season,
he was the whole reason we got into a Champions League final.
This season has just been a bit of a sour taste for his story. Our next substitute was in the 75th minute in Richarlison. I'm going to give him a 6.5.
I'm going to give Richarlison a 6.5. And
could have scored. So close to scoring.
So close to scoring. Yeah.
David Raya pulled out one of the saves of the game.
He looked like he wanted to. We were 3-1 down with 9 minutes of stoppage time left. I think he was one of the only ones on the pitch who looked like he actually believed that we could get those 2 goals.
Although I'm pretty sure after Raya saved that, he was just like, okay, I think I'm just cursed. I'm not scoring anything, because that was an unbelievable save. The first header was a good header.
That was really, both the headers were really good.
Yeah.
Even the second save really challenged David Raya.
Yeah,
That's another reason we should buy him in the summer.
Yeah. I hope he really should be our first buy, because Forster's on his way out. Lloris has already checked out, I think. I
think Forster will stay for a season or 2 as our backup goalie, though.
Yeah, but we need a better starting
quality.
goalie.
Yeah, we definitely need a better starting.
But I think it all matters on who finishes higher, us or Brentford. Brentford finish above us. I don't think there's a reason for Raya to come here.
There's no reason for David Raya to come to Spurs.
So it might be 1 or 2 places, but that could determine European football.
If we get into Conference League and we finish 7th, then Brentford finish 8th.
That'll be a big deciding factor.
Then just us having European football next season could mean that David Raya comes to us.
Yeah, so it'll be a and it matters on the coach we get in.
Yeah, that too.
So that'll be very, very interesting. And our last sub was Pedro Porro. I'm going to give him a 5.
I'm going to give Pedro Porro a 6.
It just feels like he wanted to hit crosses or like score an absolute banger.
He wasn't that much involved. You could tell he wanted to get stuff done. He wanted to put in some dangerous crosses, but not much was really coming off, and he didn't have much luck.
Yeah. And in the end, Tottenham lost 3-1. Some encouraging performances in the likes of Bissouma and Kulusevski, but then we just fell apart defensively by the point. And by that point, Brentford just kept throwing everything at us, and we folded every single time. So I think it'll be a relief when this season's over, but I really don't know where we go from here until we get that coach in. And that responsibility falls to Daniel Levy. So it really all rests on what our incredible, amazing, that was all sarcastic, chairman does this summer and how quickly he does it. But that's it for our ratings for all the players from Tottenham's 3-1 loss to Brentford at home in the Premier League. If you enjoyed and want to see more Spurs content, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what you want to see more of. And until next time.
Come on, you Spurs!